here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. Coming to a school bus stop near you this year, an extended stop arm. It's for some school districts in Maine. We'll explain how they're keeping kids safe.
Also tonight, we get our first peek at a trailer for the new movie Lighthouse. Yes, based in Maine, starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, so that should be pretty cool. Plus, wouldn't it be cool if you could work a 4-day work week? More and more companies are moving toward that. We'll talk about that tonight, too. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for being with us. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. In the news tonight, in Maine, this past school year, there were 173 instances reported of vehicles illegally passing a school bus when the stop arm of the bus was out. That's in one day. Nearly half the drivers who were surveyed saw a violation that put children's safety at risk.
Those results from a National Transportation Safety Group were released just last week, but the wheels were already in motion long before that at one Maine school district to get ahead of this problem. Before Matt Kearns was the director of transportation at RSU 57 in Waterboro, he was the bus driver.
I always tell people I'd rather take one of these to Boston than my own car.
He knows firsthand how difficult it can be when other drivers are impatient and don't stop when that stop sign is out.
It's very frustrating.
Like this, a driver caught on camera in New Hampshire last year.
That's the hardest thing for the driver. They're trying to watch their student and make sure their student's where they're supposed to be, and to try and get a license plate at the same time to provide to law enforcement can be difficult sometimes.
To better protect the roughly 3,000 students they transport every day during the school year, 9 buses in the fleet are equipped with extended stop arms. The standard stop sign on a school bus is 18 inches long. This extended stop arm is an additional 6 feet longer and extends into the other travel lane.
It puts that visual further out in the driver's view. I think we find that a lot of people are distracted or have tunnel vision. The biggest excuse we get from violators or that our school resource officer gets is that we didn't see the bus.
Kearns says school bus drivers reported instances of violations about 100 times a year. Since they installed the extended stop arms, they've seen a difference.
The frequency has dropped dramatically.
Stepping up student safety, one swing at a time. RSU 57 is among the first school district in the state to add these extended stop arms. They are expensive, costing $2,000 each.
Great idea. Great idea, right?
It is interesting. I mean, they are expensive, so to equip 9 buses in their fleet of more than 50 or so buses, it's a start. But they do use these buses that are equipped with the extended arms on their heavily trafficked routes. Yeah. So they start there and then they'll expand as they get the money.
But I mean, you can't put a price on the life of a kid anyway, so it's I like it a lot.
Hey, don't you wish you were outside right now?
Well, that would mean we'd have to be out there with Keith, though.
It would mean that. Keith,
so no, I'm good
nice.
inside.
I'm deeply hurt by that. Yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off, you know. It's really nice out, but you got to be out here with me. You know, it's strange. It is hot, but I don't find it oppressive right now. Of course, I'm standing in the shade here, but we're still in most places in the upper 80s and some low 90s. Here's a look at our current conditions. 89 in Saco, 84 in Portland, 92 in Sebago, 92 in Parsonsfield as well. Turner sitting at 87, and same to the north here, and 89 in Old Town, 88 in Bangor. Dew Point's still a little sticky, so with upper 60s and low 70s, which is in that uncomfortable to oppressive range in most spots. I think tomorrow morning especially you're going to notice that humidity. Satellite's pretty clean and the sky conditions are pretty clean as well. But we do have some thunderstorms and quite a few of them off to our west. Severe weather watch box actually up into Vermont. Most of those will die out before they get to us, but a few will make it into the mountains later on tonight, a reduced form of their previous selves. And then eventually we see those settle down. Tomorrow we start off warm, and we get warm very quickly here. Tomorrow through the first half of the day, we eventually end up in the mid-80s to around 90 degrees before some showers and thunderstorms come back through. Guys, we do cool down for the weekend, but as we've talked about, cool down and early August is all a relative term, so we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few.
All right, sounds good. And scare those seagulls away from my car, please.
It's too late, man. It's too late.
Taking a look at some headlines now, immigration lawyers are speaking out about the adults who are detained in packed Border Patrol cells along the border with Mexico. They say many of them are malnourished, poorly treated, and not allowed to speak to their families. The lawyers say the government is trying to avoid a sweeping order from a federal judge that would require the release of potentially thousands of people detained by Border Patrol.
Capital One says the names and addresses of 100 million people in the United States and another 6 million in Canada were obtained by a hacker, and a suspect has already been arrested. Her name is Paige Thompson. She previously worked for Amazon Web Services as a software engineer. This incident is expected to cost Capital One between $100 million and $150 million this year, mostly because of customer notifications, credit monitoring, and legal support. And the Federal Trade Commission is warning consumers about scams related to Equifax's data breach. The FTC posting a tweet today that urges consumers to only apply for claims through the link on the FTC website. So that's ftc.gov/Equifax, or on the official settlement website, which is equifaxbreachsettlement.com. The commission is requiring Equifax to pay consumers up to $125 in cash and pay for identity security services too. It's all because of a breach 2 years ago that impacted 150 million people.
Attention pilots. The Department of Homeland Security plans to issue a security alert for small planes. It's a warning that modern flight systems are vulnerable to hacking if someone manages to get inside the cockpit. I know there are many small plane pilots here in Maine. The alert recommends plane owners ensure they restrict unauthorized physical access to their aircraft until the industry develops safeguards to address this issue. Most airports have security in place to keep people away from the planes, and there's no evidence anyone has exploited this potentially vulnerable information. DHS says it's decided it was important to issue a warning after it confirmed the flaw with outside partners and a national research laboratory. The celebration for Maine's upcoming bicentennial kicked off today.
Yeah, the bicentennial flag was raised in Presque Isle and Bangor and Portland and Augusta. Here's the scene from Aroostook County, where the Presque Isle Fire Department went big with the flag raising. Governor Janet Mills was joined by Commission Chairman Senator Bill Diamond and state and local officials at each stop. We're going to have much more on these celebrations that took place today over the next 90 minutes here in our newscasts. We'll take a break, but coming up, a record set on the Billboard Top 100, and the trailer is out for a Maine-based movie.
And we know money doesn't grow on trees, but there's one tree proving wishes can come true.
And don't forget to download our brand new free mobile app. It's available on the App Store and at Google Play.
Google is giving us a sneak peek at its new phone.
Yeah, there's a brief video clip to show you here. It was released on Twitter late yesterday. It is for Google's yet-to-be-released Pixel 4 phone, and it shows a user controlling the phone without actually touching it, instead using hand gestures. There's also something called Face Unlock to open the phone. It's facial recognition, just like Apple's Face ID. And you can skip songs on your playlist simply by swiping through the air.
What?
That app uses radar technology called Soli. So the Pixel 4 should hit the market in October.
I'd have an issue with that because I talk a lot with my hands.
You'd be skipping songs all the time.
Yeah. It'd be skipping
Bad
all over
for
the
you.
place. Yeah. Speaking of your playlist, Old Town Road by Lil Nas and featuring Billy Ray Cyrus has been the #1 song for 17 weeks in a row. That's according to the Billboard Top 100. The song beats the record once held by both One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men and Despacito. And of course, there have been a lot of remixes to this, including one dedicated to Maine. You can find that song and an interview with the artist at our website and mobile app.
Oh, okay, that'd be neat to listen to. A lot of people have been seeing Willem Dafoe around the streets of Maine this summer. He does own a house in the state, but he's also starring in a new movie set in Maine as well. It's called The Lighthouse, set in the 1890s, and the trailer for the film was released today. It also stars Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame. He and Willem Dafoe star as Ephraim Winslow and Thomas Wake. They're two lighthouse keepers. They're trapped on this isolated, craggy Maine island, and they develop extreme cabin fever. And then to make matters worse, a major storm hits. New Hampshire native Robert Eggers, the film's director, co-wrote the script with his brother Max Eggers. And by the way, this was not shot in Maine. They shot it up in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The film is set to hit theaters on the 18th of October, and you can check out our social media pages for that full trailer.
Maine inspiration.
I want to see that because it sounds like it's
Looks a little creepy.
Yeah, really creepy.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, why more companies are deciding to let their employees work 4 10-hour days.
And in a few minutes, we'll get Keith's full forecast. Why have a wishing well when you can have a wishing tree? There's one in Texas where you will find thousands of wishes waiting to come true.
And here's a look at how that tree came to be.
This oak tree in Oak Cliff is covered in hopes and dreams.
For my family to come back together and my son is safe.
Good grades. That's got to be a kid.
I wish for greatness and happiness.
Every single one of these cards contains someone's deepest wish.
My wish is for my children to grow to be loving, God-fearing, and assets to this world.
I wish for my husband and I to have a baby.
This started a few years ago because Allison Quaylar wanted to bring her neighborhood together. So she created the Wishing Tree outside her restaurant, the Local Oak.
How many times do you get the chills when you...
A lot.
Do you get that? I know.
I really do. Oh my gosh, some of them are so profound. Some of them are amazingly spiritual. Some of them are funny. I love the ones the kids write. More than anything, I find that there's so much good in the world, and that some days we kind of lose sight of that.
There are only 2 rules. Number 1, write down your deepest wish and put it on the tree. Number 2, read someone else's wish, then wish for them too. What do you think of the Wishing Tree?
I think it's amazing. I think that the fact that you read someone else's wish, it could bless your own wish, you know?
Absolutely, I would agree with that. I wish that my teacher would stop getting headaches from the class. That poor teacher. I wish to see my dad. Oh, handwriting, it has to be a little child who's wishing to see their dad.
You were surprised how many people wish for other people.
Yes. That's surprising because we were just saying that, in the world we live in now, a lot of people are selfish, only think of themselves, but it's good to know that there are some good ones still left in the world who wish for others and prosperity and blessings and all that good stuff.
So if your wish is to have your faith in humanity restored, come down here. And I know that wish will come true. In Dallas, I'm Hannah Davis. What does everybody want?
Love.
So pretty when they're all together like that.
Yeah, I really like that. I kind of like, they're saying it, it kind of gives you a positive feeling about people again, which sometimes you lose, but also I like the fact that there can be like a silly one next to a really profound one, and you kind of, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
It's very symbolic of life as we know it,
Yeah,
right?
right? Yeah.
How we know it. One day we get a great, sunny, beautiful day. The next minute, things could change.
Could, but they're not going to really. That's hot today, hot again tomorrow, a few thunderstorms in the mix. That's about it. But today, I didn't find today intolerable. It was hot, but you start to get used to it, and then summer's over.
I will say
That's
on
how
the
it works.
school bus, it was a little tough.
I remember those being pretty tough in general.
Yeah, it was a little tough.
Or classrooms.
Yes.
If you were caught in the wrong time of the year,
Yeah,
is
it
not
was a
good
little
either.
tough today.
Right now, still 91 in Freiburg, 88 in Sanford, 88 in Waterville, and 88 in Bangor. There's air quality alert along the coastline. Current heat index still in the mid-90s. Look at Sanford at 96, 96 in Lewiston. Feels like 90 in Bangor too. So the dew points were a big factor today. We didn't really get any cloud development though. The atmosphere was otherwise capped and there was just no catalyst to produce convection. But there is pretty strong one off to the west. That's where your severe thunderstorm watch box is, and then warnings dotted within that. So pretty gnarly severe weather here, but most of this dies out before it gets to Maine just because of the timing, and with the sun starting to wane, you lose a lot of instability. Still, we'll get a couple of those showers and thunderstorms through into the mountains tonight. I don't think they'll be strong. I think they'll just be garden variety. It's warm tonight. Most of us stay in the upper 60s and low 70s, even in the middle of the night. And then by tomorrow morning, we're in the mid 70s, and we start pushing up quickly in the afternoon, midday, I should say, tomorrow, into the mid 80s, upper 80s, some low 90s. And then in the afternoon, we look for showers and thunderstorms. Now, tomorrow's interesting because there is some possibility of severe weather. it's not super well formed, and not everybody gets a thunderstorm. So it's possible you'll have your air mass switch out without the rain. But certainly there will be a lot more showers and thunderstorms around than there are right now, right through the evening tomorrow night and into early Thursday before we start to clear out. Call it late morning, midday on Thursday. And then Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all look good to me. The air mass will be drier and cooler. Not dry or cool, but better and less humid than what we're dealing with right now. And I think Friday especially is just a totally sunny kind of day. So the orange arrow still in our face tomorrow, that southwest flow. Eventually get the front through again. It's a little bit cooler, a little bit less humid. High pressure builds in again for the weekend. So we're looking at another nice weekend as we're kind of piling those on. All right, Nerd Watch, pretty high here. So as of right now, we have the warmest July on record with 72.9. What happens tonight and into tomorrow will determine if we can break the kind of bogus records from the mid-1800s when Portland's thermometer was in a very terrible place. It would be interesting if we could beat those records too, because they're, like I said last night, it's like beating somebody who's on steroids without using them. So now our center is much better, it's in a good place. But regardless, it's at least since the 1930s, the hottest. But if we can get a little bit warmer tonight, then we'll beat the one from the mid-1800s, which is really...
Which is what we're really trying to do.
That's if you're going to play the game.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it'll have to come down to tonight. Jess and I were talking about it. If we can stay above 70 tonight, that's going to be huge.
All right.
So we'll see.
All right. Good. Thanks, Keith, very much. Hey, here's a question for you. Would you rather work 5 days a week, like you probably do now, or 4? A lot of people would answer 4. Obviously, that would mean you'd work longer days, probably.
Yeah, more companies are offering this type of schedule to their employees, and it has affected productivity. Let's take a look.
A 3-day weekend sounds good, right? A new report found more businesses are moving to 4-day work weeks. But what does that mean for productivity? Let's connect the dots. A report from USA Today found more employees are working 10-hour days, 4 days per week, so they can take Friday or Monday off. Bosses say they find that their workers have more energy if they get an extra day off. A study from the workforce management website Kronos found 40% of Americans would prefer a 4-day work week, and just 28% are happy with the traditional 5-day week. And with the shorter weeks, not all workers end up pulling longer days. Some keep their schedules at 8 hours per shift and cut that 5th day of work. A survey by the Society for Human Resource Management found 15% of organizations offer 4-day work weeks of 32 hours or less to some employees, up from 13% in 2017. And that's boosted recruitment for some businesses, cutting their time to fill vacancies in half. As the labor market gets more competitive, businesses have to set themselves apart now to recruit talent with new incentives and benefits. And some employers say the 4-day schedules mean they get 13% more applications for open positions. So all this may help you make a case to your boss to extend your weekends every week. Connecting the dots, I'm Yvonne Nava.
Fans of the legendary sitcom Friends will have a chance to go all in to celebrate the 25th anniversary, of the comedy's debut. That was like a dagger to the heart for you. Warner Brothers is setting up a pop-up entertainment experience in Manhattan's Soho district for about a month, starting in September. Fans will be able to explore the show through set recreations, props, and costumes. It'll cost $29.50 to visit. Tickets go on sale Friday. I would love to try on a wig of Rachel's hair.
Okay.
Just to have Jennifer Aniston's hair for one day would be so nice.
You have great hair. You're fine. I would like Joey to make me a sandwich.
Oh, yeah, that'd be so good.
Like a meatball sandwich. That's what I would like.
Or maybe sing a little Smelly Cat.
Yeah. That'd be good too.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of smelly, actually, Portland police had to deal with a smelly situation. Early this morning, police came to the rescue of a skunk. It had its head stuck in a can. Whoa. Officers were able to remove the can with a little help from a towel. The skunk just scurried off happily. This video was sent to us by Tracy Reed. No officers were sprayed in the making of this video, thankfully.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad they didn't get sprayed. They need a tomato juice bath after that.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. All right.
Takes
We have
forever.
a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30.
Yeah. People in Sanford were sad to see an old mill go up in flames a couple of years ago, but they will no longer have to look at the remains of that burned out building. It is coming down in pieces, not as easy as you might think either.
And a device now being manufactured in this country is offering freedom to the disabled, allowing them to get places they once could not get to on their own. We'll check this out. That's all ahead on News Center Maine at 5:30.
I'll join Cindy in the studio right now, but
We got Braindrops after this.
It's not going to get less creepy, folks. I'll
It's
tell you
still
that.
not old.
We are keeping it.
Yeah.
We are keeping it.
We're
Okay.
also teasing ahead to News Center Maine at 5:30.
Yes, we are going to in a second. Can we start with our Braindrops tonight was actually about peanut butter. Now, Jess can attest, Jess, that I eat lots of peanut butter.
I've seen you eat a lot of peanut butter.
Okay, and my mom's a dietitian, so you probably know where this is going. Is peanut butter good for you? What is your take on this before I give you the answer?
You know, it fills me up. I can go a lot of hours after having an English muffin with some peanut butter on it.
Not do you like peanut butter, though? Do you think it's good for you?
I think it's good protein.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe some fatty,
Yes.
some good fats.
So the short answer, it is good for you. The long answer is it depends what kind of peanut butter you get.
Okay.
Right. So if you get your average, I'm not going to name any brands because they probably advertise on our station.
I get the one with the turquoise lid.
Okay. Yes. So if you get your average variety of the main brands, they have a lot of added sugar. So outside of just peanut oil and water. So you're better off getting either the natural version of the big brands or like Teddy peanut butter. Because the problem is they add sweetener because they know people like it. So it goes from really, really healthy to not quite as good. And as far as the fat goes, they actually did a study 2 years ago that found that people who eat peanuts weighed 5% less on average because of what you talked about. The protein in there makes it so you're not as hungry, so you don't eat as much other stuff.
Yeah.
So in short, the answer is it's good, but you have to watch what type of peanut butter you get because some of them do have a ton of added sugar, and then it's just not as good for you. Okay, moving on to 5:30 real quickly. I wanted to talk about, we have an air quality alert in effect. Saw these a lot when I lived in Atlanta. You don't see them a lot here, so this is all along the coastline here, and it basically means be careful when you're outside, especially if you have breathing problems. We're going to talk in just a few minutes about why the coastline has these and the inland, even though it's hotter, doesn't. So
very interesting.
It's like a braindrops and a braindrops.
I love this. The Inception Braindrops. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.